Max, what's your topic today?
Oh, okay. So a little bit of a lengthy one and a nerdier side. No,
I mean, it's
no
probably way better than the best fruit.
still good. We got a lot of substance out of it.
Which, you know, in hindsight, probably wasn't the best topic. When I thought of it, I was like, yeah, that's going to be so good.
Stupid.
I was just to top it off, my best fruit, German sausage. Anyway, so what has been your in popular media, so movies or TV? What has been your least favorite representation of any comic book character? It could be the actor's fault, it could be the director's fault, maybe the writing, but what has been your least favorite you've seen through that span?
Batman shooting people.
In Batman v Superman?
Yeah.
Good friend Sean Pitts, who now works at IGN. I was over at his place last night, and he made me watch the cinema sins for Batman Returns because I was saying how Batman Returns was a good one. And like Batman, how that just straight up kills people in that one too.
Kills people in the original Batman movie too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So what you're saying is like our least favorite like comic book like adaptation for a character?
Iteration
Okay.
of popular media.
Okay. That's a good one. How about you?
You ever heard of a show called Smallville? There's a
See,
nice list there.
People like Smallville though. I thought that was a good one.
Well, I mean, for the development of Superman himself, the weird friend thing with Lex Luthor turned out all right. But it's just some of the minor characters they didn't do justice to. Like, you got that weird Green Arrow. You had Cowboy Deadshot. And then my least favorite was its version of Deathstroke. He was just kind of this old guy who was like kind of a semblance of a retired military veteran. The only thing that kept true to Deathstroke or Slade Wilson himself was that he had an eye patch.
That sucks. Yeah, I never watched Smallville, so I can't really speak to how well or how shitty that show does. But I guess the best example, I don't think anything could really top this, is the entirety of Gotham. That show is just like every character in that show is just poorly represented. Gordon sucks. Gordon is like, I'm a badass young dude, and even though I was
And
supposed,
not Batman.
yeah, Batman.
What
happened?
Batman.
Because like, you know, Gordon's like fucking badass, but he's more of like
A subtle badass.
a subtle badass, and then like the fucking Gordon that they use in Gotham reminds me of like, why did you get like a Chris Pine wannabe trying to play Captain Kirk a little bit, playing Gordon? Like, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
And then Harvey Bullock is like just really like over comically like just disgruntled in that show. And then Penguin is a fucking monstrosity. People can talk shit like Sean Pitts can talk shit about Danny DeVito playing the Penguin in Batman Returns.
I fucking love that one.
But there's a lot of problems. when he was having me watch the Cinema Sins, I was like, oh god, this is a really bad movie. But I still enjoy it. But the fucking Penguin in Gotham, it's like, what the fuck are you guys doing here? Like, who is this person? He is not the Penguin. Penguin does not act like this whatsoever. What is that face?
I don't know.
And then also like Riddler is like a little weird in that
He's the
show.
diddler for some reason.
He diddles children. It's really weird.
Diddle me this, Batman.
What is
Oh
this,
god.
Mark Miller doing Batman?
Oh my god.
And then, so I think like Gotham is just like the peak of just like terrible representation of like a superhero. Henry though, like, well, what are you thinking?
See, here's the thing. What you don't know is that there's a pilot made for a Wonder Woman TV show.
Ooh, when was this supposed to come out?
I think like a few years ago, I want to say.
Jesus.
And here's the thing. So I forget who plays Wonder Woman in this. It's
Okay.
not Gal Gadot. And it's not Lucy Lawless, the only person who should ever play Wonder Woman. But here, so how it starts, Wonder Woman tortures people in it.
The fuck? That's not
Like
the Wonder
breaks
Woman way.
people's arms. For some reason, she's in charge of a fashion agency or something.
Sounds like Supergirl,
Yeah.
where she's like Supergirl, or is that the show I'm thinking of? The CW show,
Yeah.
or it was
The
originally
one that's better than Arrow but worse than Flash.
yeah. It's like Ugly Betty, but she's also a superhero. I don't fucking understand that. I don't understand it. 'Cause she works at like a fashion model place, whatever those companies are called, and I don't understand it. I think it's bullshit. It's like sort of like you have these characters who from comics, like in their comic universe, they're like working at like cool places and they're like smart and stuff, and then these like popular media like TV shows and like movies and shit, they're like, oh, they have to work at like a fucking perfume place or like a model place or
You know,
something.
something that women can relate to.
Another one is I don't think Catwoman has ever gotten a really good representation in anything.
I was about to say the one Catwoman solo movie. That's another good example.
Oh,
of
yeah.
a great representation.
I think
You
that
mean
was
great representation.
I think that was
Halle Berry.
when we ranked the top 50 comic book movies of all time. I think that was our number 50.
Yeah, I think
was
so.
Catwoman.
All the way at the bottom.
Yeah, and that was just like, and I realized this when we were watching CinemaSins last night was that the way that Catwoman gets resurrected in the movie Catwoman is the same way she gets resurrected in fucking Batman Returns, where she like fucking falls and like to her death, and then a bunch of cats just come up and just lick her, and she like returns to life. And when has that ever happened in a fucking comic book with Catwoman? At all. And then you fucking got like Anne Hathaway playing Catwoman in The Dark Knight Rises, and she was okay. She was an okay Selena Kyle, right?
Yeah.
She was just like, I'm the sexy Catwoman.
She's like, I beat people up who have walking sticks.
I burgle.
Yeah.
I burgle a lot.
I burgle and a smurgle. Burgle and a curgle.
Like the best like adaptation or like sort of on-screen adaptation we've gotten of a Catwoman is Arkham City. I think Arkham City's Catwoman is fucking on point. Really good. But I'm trying to think of like some of my favorite superheroes, right? Like you got your Batmans and then you got your Spider-Mans. I mean, Batman is like, it's the obvious answer, right? Fucking Batman and Robin, Batman Forever,
This is why Superman works alone.
Bat Nips.
Bat
The
credit
worst thing to ever happen to
She's
a comic
taking
book.
over your mind, dick.
card. Bat credit card.
Oh my
Never
god.
leave the cave without it.
Deadpool. Not the movie Deadpool, but Origins Deadpool.
Well, see,
That was more of the writers.
That was more Baraka.
I would also say that the new Deadpool movie isn't a great representation of Deadpool from the
not
comics.
the best.
And you know they could only do so much. You know they could only do so much and make it still try to appeal to like a greater audience. But Deadpool was definitely way like watered down. I felt in the new movie because I was watching it a couple of weeks ago. I was like, I bought the Blu-ray. And I was like, hey, I should actually watch this. And I was thinking like it was the first time I'd seen it since watching it in the first time I saw it in theaters, I think. And I was like, oh wow, like for second watch is definitely like a way different experience. Where you're like, oh man, I wish they could have like done this, or I wish they could have included the thought bubbles. And then you think to yourself, but like, could the thought bubbles really work in a movie? And like all of this stuff, and you think to yourself, like, is it possible to ever really do a really good, well represented Deadpool movie?
Do you ever play the Deadpool game? Gameplay was horrendous, but
Oh yeah, the fucking
writing
the writing was on point. I think I have that on PS4 for some fucking
Nolan
reason.
North doing two voices for one character.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the comedy in Deadpool, the video game is on point, and like I would say it's like more of like the newer representation of what Deadpool is with like sort of the newer lines of comics for Deadpool.
Yeah.
But I think it's still like a better representation of how fucking insane Deadpool is, rather than the movie, because the movie sort of it was weird because he was like acting crazy sometimes, but he really wasn't, and he was really just trying to get his girlfriend, which has never been a thing for Deadpool. So I don't know.
Colossus was there.
Colossus was there. He looked terrible. He did not
Sonic
look good.
Teenage Warhead was there. She was the best part of the movie.
She was. She really was.
Yeah.
Ripley from Alien 3. Not a hero, but Lex Luthor in Batman v Superman.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah.
you mean the Joker?
you mean Mom's old fashioned lemonade?
Jesus Christ! And no, it's grandma's old-fashioned sweet tea.
That was
peach tea or something, whatever. And
The red gates are coming.
He peed it. He peed in it, and then fucking the judge lady was like, "Oh no, he peed," and then the fucking building blew up.
You defended that movie.
What?
You defended that movie when it came out.
Batman v Superman?
Yeah, in your review with Ricky. You were both like, it's okay.
The
You were.
the Wonder Woman guitar.
There were good. I remember saying there were good moments, but they had no idea how to fucking connect those moments.
You only realized how awful it was the second time.
I mean, I knew how bad it was the first time, but I still saw like the cool moments, right? Of like the whole funeral for Superman and that ending where, you know, like the dirt rises or whatever. Like that was so cool.
The Dirt Knight rises.
But like getting there was fucking awful, and like they had no idea how to get there. There were cool points in those movies, but it was just like they didn't know how to connect the dots. That was my argument. Because there's some cool moments.
Do you bleed?
You will.
Pokes him really hard. Oh, he does.
I would say, yeah, Lex Luthor definitely awful representation of like what Lex like really is. The other one, and I don't think this gets mentioned a lot because, you know, people think Andrew Garfield is the prettiest fucking guy in the world. But the Amazing Spider-Man movies, I think, were a terrible representation of what Peter Parker really is. Because he's like, oh, I'm a loner dude, but, you know, like I skateboard and I take photos and I'm really tall and white.
I have
and
a
if I lived in
who's Emma Stone.
and if I lived in San Francisco, all of the Asian girls would be on this dick. All of them. Like, oh man, I'm super pretty and stuff, but like, you know, no one likes me at my high school. It's like, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
They didn't like you because you said some bullshit stuff in class. And you're blaming it on-
Like, I thought like Tobey Maguire was definitely a better representation of like who Peter Parker was.
Especially in Spider-Man 3.
No, yeah,
Especially.
the emo part.
Yeah, exactly. When Andrew Garfield was Spider-Man, though, when he was like actually Spider-Man, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
But Peter Parker, though, he was a shitty Peter Parker. I didn't like it. He was douchey. Peter
the
Parker
same
isn't douchey.
In those same movies, the representation of Harry Osborn.
Oh my god, fucking awful. That kid, I like that actor. I like.
DeHaan, yeah, he's a
Yeah.
good actor, but
He-
it was wasted.
Peter.
Peter. Oh my god, it's like the fucking transition of he's like sort of like this really rich boy, and he's like
I have a
sort of
skin disease.
he's a little
God.
reserved, and like, you know, it's taken his dad like his entire life to like die, but then like it takes him like 2 days to like almost die. I'd never understood that shit. And I'm just waiting for the day that we get a fucking good adaptation of the Green Goblin, which would be to bring in the Ultimate Spider-Man Green Goblin and
Wait,
do
you don't
that
think
shit.
James Franco did it perfectly? My best friend. So good.
No, the fucking Ultimate Spider-Man Green Goblin, so fucking cool because they're not like suits or anything. It's like he's working on a super soldier. He's working on a super soldier serum, and it goes wrong. He turns into this fucking like huge fucking monster. Like that's cool. I like that. It's a cool way to do that. And he goes like fucking insane. And then he does it to Harry, and Harry doesn't even know it. Oh my god, so good, so fucking good.
Ooh, another bad one. Jimmy Osborn in Batman v Superman.
Oh my god, where he was like an undercover agent or something.
And immediately gets shot.
And then
Yeah, what
nobody-
the fuck was that shit?
Nobody
I
knew
see
it was
J-
initially him either.
Like they like you didn't know until like the very end during the credits. You're
He
like,
just
wait,
killed Jimmy Olsen.
the fuck is that shit? Like oh my god, that movie.
Is
movie.
bad. It's a bad movie.
It is a
it's
bad
a bad movie.
I don't know. What are some of the ones that you really hate?
Well, I really didn't like that Deathstroke. Another one I didn't necessarily hate, but just didn't like because it could have been executed a little better was what's his name? Colin Farrell Bullseye, because he got the crazy down.
Bullseye. No. He was awful. He's just an awful
No, he's the
actor.
best part of that movie.
I did like Michael Clark Duncan Kingpin though. That was
It was okay, but fucking.
They got someone who looks like Kingpin.
But yeah, who's the new one in the Daredevil TV show? D'Onofrio or something?
Yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio.
He is fucking awesome. Just because of how that character is written, of sort of like this fucked up Kingpin who has like social issues and shit. Like that is really cool. And that's like a really good that's like a new interpretation of what Kingpin is, and it's done so fucking well. Because in the comics, Kingpin is very much like he's just bulkier Lex Luthor. Or fatter Lex Luthor, I should say.
No, he's bulkier.
It's bulky. It's supposed to be muscle, but it looks like fat.
Yeah, and like, he's always like confident in public and like a confident businessman, and he's sort of just like a one-note villain in the comics. Like even in Ultimate Spider-Man, he's sort of one note.
I never realized how terrifying that is. The idea that Kingpin is nothing but muscle under that. Like imagine that on a realistic person, like that muscle mass.
It's the Michelin Man.
Imagine seeing that naked though. He could crush your head with his fucking feet.
I imagine those Renaissance paintings where they just have like biceps and abs on everything.
And the women are just the men with balloons taped to their nipples.
But yeah, he's done really well, and just because they like added that little taste of flavor of character for the Kingpin.
The characterization was done very well. Any more that you really hate or really like?
That I really hate. I mean, Green Lantern is obviously an awful film, but I've never been a huge Green Lantern fan where I'm like, oh man, fuck Ryan Reynolds. Like I was like,
Phalanx,
who?
the giant monster at the end.
Oh,
where he went from being a giant space bug. Comics are stupid.
Yeah.
To being just a giant head in the sky.
Wait, was that Phalanx or was that Parallax?
Parallax.
Phalanx is the aliens from X-Men or from Marvel. Wait,
Yeah, you're right. I get them confused because they're both stupid.
they're both like arbitrary aliens added for the sake of space connection.
Where are the Brood?
The Brood.
The other one that I actually really didn't like, and I was really bummed because I was so excited for this movie, was Age of Ultron. I did not like Ultron's characterization because I thought they played him off as sort of like this like stepson where he's like trying to be like witty and silly and shit.
Yeah.
But like I saw Ultron as like fucking terrifying. Like he could be really, really scary. And then when they did like he's got like quips and stuff and he tries to be silly and he's like, oh, I ripped your arm off, I'm sorry. It's like, this is so fucking lame. He is a lame villain.
Why are you Whedoning him?
Yeah, exactly.
Joss
Like he could have been so fucking terrifying, and he was like when he started, right? When like all the fucking robots walk out, he's like, "I'm
Puppets
fucking
on
Ultron.
strings.
I'm Ultron."
I looked at the internet. People are terrible.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
like
have you seen how they treat women on there?
I
And
went on Tumblr.
why doesn't Black Widow have her own movie yet?
It's funny when you just realize Whedon is not a good writer of dialogue.
Oh no.
People like love his dialogue, but it's like it's terrible.
Not good.
I mean,
He writes every character the same.
Yeah, and that's like Firefly, good show, but it's like everybody is fucking like the same. Like it's all like one note, same sort of character.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, it's great. I'm seeing 5 of the same people.
They're all quipping.
Yeah, exactly. Like on a ship together. Great.
Can you have a character who doesn't quip?
And that's sort of the thing is that he sort of ruined sort of modern day like comic book. Like I see that even like in the Flash, right? Everybody has fucking something to say in the Flash, and it's like
Even in Batman v Superman, they quip.
yeah, and it's like Batman sort of does it, but not as much as he like did it in Batman v Superman, and like
Superman doesn't quip.
yeah, that's not Superman's thing. Like Batman, even though he does it very little, like does it way more than Superman would, and like the fuck was that shit? Oh my god.
Oh, another really bad version. Mandarin, obviously.
Oh yeah, that's.
I didn't hate Mandarin. People talk shit about the Mandarin, but I thought that was a cool. Like, if you just look at it as a movie, right? It's this whole twist, you know? You think there's this terrorist, and then you realize he's just an actor. Like, as a movie, if you don't take the context of, like, who the Mandarin is from the comics, I thought it was pretty cool.
Well, if we're gonna dig a little into Iron Man 3. So I will say this. I was initially upset about the Mandarin thing. I was just like, oh, but the connection to the 10 rings and to the people who took Tony hostage in the first movie would have been cool.
They teased that
Mandarin.
there is an actual Mandarin.
So I was actually.
But I also noticed that it was before. I think it was before Guardians. Usually, my girlfriend will watch like a lot of the Marvel movies before like a new one comes out. And when we were rewatching Iron Man like a couple of years ago, I noticed that
they had
like the 10 ring symbol, and they used that symbol in Iron Man 3,
which is a nice throwback.
Ooh.
But I will say, like, Mandarin as a plot point, having this false militant terrorist leader be a scapegoat for when one of your accidental soldiers blows up, that's a good plot point. All right, I just didn't like what they did with the organization of AIM. There's supposed to be a bunch of nerds in bee suits, not super soldiers.
Yeah, AIM was sort of fucked up a little bit.
I'm trying to think if there's any other like really bad, like, why did you do this with characters?
I mean, it's mainly like Marvel's villains are always sort of like, what the fuck are you guys doing here? I mean, Apocalypse I think was awful. Just because Apocalypse could have been really, really terrifying, and holy shit, that entire movie is so boring.
Oh, if you want a really goddamn bad portrayal of a character, can we talk about the awfulness that was January Jones as Emma Frost in First Class? That was some bad acting.
We could talk about that.
That's the blonde woman, right?
Yeah, the one from Mad Men.
Yeah, she was like the one aspect of that movie that really sucked.
Yeah.
Like that First Class is awesome. But she was like...
It's like how you watch the first Sin City and you're like, this is fine. And then like you get to Jessica Alba's part.
Yeah.
And
I really like Sin City.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Yeah. Didn't watch the sequel because why?
Yeah, no, there's no reason to.
I also didn't like Doctor Doom in the original Fantastic Four.
He was so Evans. Fucking like... what's the word that I'm looking for here? He's
lame?
No, not like comic booky, but he's campy. He's very campy. I fucking loved it.
Do you know what happens when rubber freezes, Mister?
Dude, I want to watch that movie so bad. Because wasn't it you guys who were sleeping over? And I started putting that on. It was during the weekend of E3, and I was like, I'm just going to put something on for you guys to fall asleep to. And I put on Fantastic Four.
At the time I watched it, though, I was young, and I was really expecting... Because I had just freshly played, like, Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Ooh.
And that was a cool
Did you hear Ultimate Alliance 2 is coming out for PS4?
That one has Carnage, so I'm down.
Yeah.
And it's actually good.
Yeah. So actually, this is a good one. Good transition. A good Gregway, as some would say. Ultimate Alliance 2 is Civil War, right? And it's way closer to the Civil War comic than the Civil War movie is.
Which was 8 people fighting in a parking lot.
Exactly.
It looked
on an airport. It looked like an airport tarmac.
It looked like a cosplay match.
It sort of did. I will admit that. But you got to admit the Ant-Man fucking reveal,
Giant Man,
was so fucking dope. So cool.
When he whipped out his dick.
Look how big it is. He's just swinging around, and Peter's just talking about Star Wars and shit.
He just starts doing the Tim and Eric skit. He just starts doing the Celery Man right on the target.
But the Civil War game is really, really cool until the very end, where like it turns into the fucking like nanite thing, and they start taking over like everybody, like the nanites that like control the villains, and then like it takes over Nick Fury, and then Nick Fury is the final boss. And it's like, what the fuck happened here? Like, how did we get here, of all places, to end this game?
Go for his eye. It's the weak spot.
Yeah, it was like that. The ending of that game, I would say, is like a really bad representation of just sort of comic books in general, not like a character.